All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon, 11/2, November 2nd. Great to see all of us here live inside the Cyber Group room. Chris, Michael, Grant, great to see all of you there. Great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. I don't want to exclude Leda right there, hearing me loud and clear. Good afternoon, Leda. So with that in mind, hey, folks, we ended up seeing the markets make a really good reaction coming off the Fed meeting at first. Fed ended up raising the rates by 75 basis points, but you got a nice reaction off the S&P out of it. But as much as I thought just a moment ago that this could lead to some possible continuation here just within the last few minutes, seems like we're getting a bit of a drop back right now. So got to be mindful and set your stops. Just make sure you know where your levels are on a bunch of these trades that can move with the market. So something like Shopify, I was looking to show you here. It was moving up really well up towards 36. It topped off at 35.80 and just now really sharply pulled back with the S&P, with the SPY. So for right now, what we'll do is really quickly just go from top to bottom, see what we could just put on our watch list. No, there's a lot going on. We ended up just finishing up the Fed meeting, and I believe that Powell is doing some presser, one of them at least. So, cutting in with this afternoon meeting at least. But with that in mind, we also have Fausto's Phase 3 class concluding later on today, just in about 30 or so minutes at 3:05 Eastern time. So I want to make sure that you folks have enough time to prep and get in the class, make sure that you're all squared away there. It seems like my platform's kind of like freezing up here even. I hope that this doesn't disrupt the afternoon meeting here. So we'll see if we can go from top to bottom. Hopefully we can. I actually have a couple of different workspaces open, so that might be the issue. But nevertheless, shop. I'm going to put on our watch list for right now. I wanted to start off on the stock for a reason. So at least we have one on our watch list. The Lee trades up about 16+%. So with the market potentially moving up higher here, this could be a nice trade to follow. The Lee. All right, let's see what's happening here right now. We're on live YouTube, Facebook Live, and YouTube. And with that, all of us inside the live trading room. My platform's freezing up here. I can't even switch out from the Shopify trade. So that's the issue right now. So if you could bear with me for a quick moment, I may need to even just reshare my screen. Just give me a brief moment. For all of us inside the live trading room, at least I ended up just taking it off for you folks. Just one quick moment here. It's freezing up on me. It's not necessarily due to the volatility within the market. That's not really the case. I just have too much damn crap up on my computer right now, which is unfortunate. A couple of different trading workspaces open. So I was trying to record some content for our YouTube channel, and we'll look to have that posted at some point over the next couple of days. But I was trying to do it simultaneously during this meeting. So that's partially on me. It's still freezing up bad right now, folks. So this is like worst case scenario here. Give me a brief moment. We're going to do a quick switch, and we'll make sure everything's up within the next 1 or so minutes for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube. If you could bear with me just for a brief moment, I'm going to stop the screen share. We'll be back in just the next 1 or 2 minutes there. I'm going to stay on the mic, though. Otherwise, we're going to get my other screen sharing. We'll be good to go. In the meantime, actually, allow me to ask a little filibuster right now. For all of us collectively, any stocks that you folks are watching right now as I look to refresh my screen? Any stocks that you have your eyes on, perhaps? We'll jump to you folks first once I have the chance to reshare my screen, my platform, if anything. Very timely, of course, right? Michael says shop and the lead trade, the two that I just kind of briefly mentioned, showed shop at least. Jeff following an ETF TQQQ, so essentially just following, the markets all together. All right, so it's going to be a really sloppy platform, folks, but we're going to get things up and running right now. Just bear with me here. We'll get a chart, we'll get a scanner. That's all we need, right? Let's get social media first, Facebook Live, YouTube. Just want to take care of you folks right now first. This will be as ugly of a screen as you will see from me. Right there. And for all of us inside the live trading room, same to be said. Just give me a brief moment. All right. It's ugly, but we're good to go. All right. So what we'll do, just to expedite things, we'll just go from top to bottom. I want to go over a couple of the stocks that we ended up just going through first. Shopify, the Lee trade. I know Chris is watching AMD more on a swing trade basis. Hey, Shopify has been a really good move over the last, hour or so, 45 or so minutes. Before the Fed meeting, things were beginning to move up anyway. Ended up getting a pretty good pop shortly after, and with that, Shopify held above the VWAP and just held recently a higher low and ended up pushing back up towards the high. So that's very nice to see. Let's jump to the Lee trade. Lee ended up making a very strong move from this morning, running up from like 1560 up towards just about 16, then ended up really beginning to break higher. I wasn't expecting as clean of a break, if anything. This ended up breaking above 16, ended up running off it, but to the point where it ended up just not coming back to it, not retesting it as support, ended up making a higher low from like 1625 or so, then ran from there. And with the Fed pushing, or with the Fed meeting leading to the market pushing back up, you're getting Lee here, just Chinese stock, if anything. That it's not really like a U.S. player, but perhaps a benefit, perhaps taking benefit of the market pushing back up right now, squeezing back up towards 17. It's had a really tough time cracking above 17, as you could see earlier. So I'll put this back on our watch list there. It's a nice stock. What we'll do, though, is just go from top to bottom, see what else we could put on our watch list here. Let's see if we could even just kind of customize this a slight bit. 100,000, 1, 2, and just go 40 for right now. And let's run it again, see if there's anything there. Band, not a whole lot happening. It looks just choppy. It's at the highs, but most recently just pulled back quite a bit. Definitely not a whole lot happening here on BNFT. It's a buyout. That's the reason why. And then from there, we'll keep it going. I appreciate everyone's patience, at least for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, for Chris, Later, Grant, all of us inside the live trading room, certainly you folks as well. Again, Fausto is going to be beginning the Phase 3 class, our final class for the month of October, at least 3:05 Eastern Time. So the link for that should be posted inside the chat board. Chegg, man, for a name brand stock, so to say. I mean, I don't know if it's name brand. I find it to be name brand, but I feel like for a stock like this coming off of news, you would have expected a lot better of a trade all around. Ended up making like a nice little pop at first, but I guess perhaps just flattening off as the markets fell flat prior to the Fed meeting. Brian and John saying the SPY tanking right now. All right, let me just pull to that really briefly. I'm not going to freeze up this screen. Ooh, that's an unfortunate shake. Shopify definitely tanked with that. Yep. That's unfortunate. I wanted to have a nice run up on Shopify. I just got stopped out on my trade. I could see break even or a couple cents down. It was a stop market order, actually, thankfully, but it ended up leading to a big drop. Geez, the SPY ended up just puking there, huh? Ended up holding underneath weekly closing price, roughly over that 389. And didn't even test that price as much, but unfortunately failed to break above it. Ended up snapping right back down. I'm sure something that Powell said led to a big drop. Just check Benzinga Pro Newswire right now. Let's see if there's anything just, headline worthy. There's a bunch of stuff, so I'm not going to try and go over everything here. But Fed's Powell says we do need to see inflation come down decisively. Says, but we don't need inflation to come down to slow the pace of the increases. All right, and there's a bunch of other just different headlines up with that. So. Hey, all right. Well, I got my SPY levels marked out, but I would expect 385 here since it just got broken through as support for that to be a local resistance here, taking us into the close. SPY off 385 as resistance, but it's a good call out for right now. Appreciate the heads up from John, Brian, etc. inside the live trading room. Oh, I got to reset my chart. All right, what else we got here? All right, I guess I got to reset my chart again. I forgot it was the global link. There we go. There we go. SNOA, not a whole lot happening on that one. The Lee trade, it dropped off a little bit, but, hey, it's not necessarily a U.S.-based stock, so, it didn't necessarily drop off as much as the SPY did as much there. But, perhaps that can make a nice shake back up towards 17 over time. Not a lot of familiar names on the gainer side. And even with the market dropping off, there could still be some stocks that are on the gainer side that are up that like 5+%. Chinese ETF yin up over 5% right now. So that was up really big in pre-market. The Neos out there, the Lees, PDD, Billy, TIGR here. A lot of those are up big in pre-market. They're not doing as great now, of course. So, all right. So I guess that just about does it. Not a whole lot else that stands out on the gainer side. INO, familiar name at least, but it's like number like 60, however many. Let's hop over to the loser side right now, see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better from there. Skip says bouncy bounce road. Ooh, I like that. We'll check in with the SPY before we close out one more time, but see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better here. So Tupperware, I was expecting a much better move on this. More is a short, but it's down enough to where you could hope for a dead cat bounce, down over 40%, but hasn't even done that. So it's been flat across the whole day. Maybe a 330 that can make some sort of wacky program trading move, but I'm not going to bank on it. This one, TFFP, was also down big early in pre-market. It's made a dead cat bounce to a degree, but we didn't really call it out. Sun, this is just a classic case of what makes the percent gainers list one day. It will make the percent losers list the next. And if it doesn't make the percent losers list the literal next day, like you could see here, ended up, making a nice move back up again the next day after the 31st. Well, it ended up dropping off here today. So this is not necessarily a day trade call, a swing trade call out. This was 100% a day trade call out. Been a lot of talking today, so my apologies there. So with that, let's see what else we got here to wrap up the loser side. If there's anything else, like I had said, folks, before, as I was going through my tech issue, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than that 5%, then type it in the chat board. Let me know. Gas ETF, cold, it's on our side list. No real other, maybe I need to yeah, oh yeah, let's at least do that. You know what I mean? Let's at least just change the volume filters on this. That's probably gonna make it a lot easier for me to skim through this side. SIGA, haven't checked into it this one in quite a while, huh? We ended up doing really well on this trade on the way up and actually on the way down too. As good on the way down as a short. Not a whole lot happening on it though, otherwise today. All right, from Michael, he says band up big but falling but leveling off. He is probably short on that trade. It is dropping off a little bit there. It's just got a really thin book. Really thin book. So it is up a lot percentage wise. We only have 2 stocks on our main watch list. You always hear me kind of complain about making too big of a watch list for you folks. So on the same side of that, I don't like making too little of a watch list. Yesterday was bad, and right now this isn't as good either. So, I'll put Ben on our watch list here for the meantime, but I would really respect the higher lows for right now and the potential run over the highs heading into the close. It still looks pretty strong. And you don't want to be short on a trade like this that has a really thin book because, if you're trying to use a stop order with such an illiquid trade, at times there's an ability where your order doesn't get filled, where the trade just skips over your stop. So you don't want to be stuck on that side either, right? All right. From one of us otherwise, just make sure you post it in the main chat, folks. For all of us inside the live trading room, Richard M., just click the main chat tab. If it says main chat right anywhere on your window, you had wrote in one of our other fields here, HYLN. I see the pop there. Not a bad call in terms of that pop, right? Tradable, liquid, right? I respect the call out there. It's not up a lot though. It's not like really that active right now. If this ends up continuing, perhaps we'll look to put more of a focus on it. We'll put it on what we call our side list for right now, Richard, but definitely not a bad shout. I respect the recent pop. All right, from Francia, one of our regular attendees inside our live trading room, joining us today on YouTube, saying STRY. This is up over 100%. I was wondering why we didn't see this at first. So this is like a cheapie, right? This is not an OTC or like real like pink sheet stock, but it's below $1, right? So we don't normally focus on the stocks below $1 as frequent, right? So, it ended up making its run from the morning, but it's gone flat since. So I'm not going to be as big on this one either. This is definitely a good time, folks, to follow stocks that move with the market. In such a volatile market right now, you can see the SPY ended up making that big drop, but it ended up retracing up. It did break back over 385 briefly, but I'm expecting that to be a big level coming up here as it was from yesterday at this time. So, if it could hold over the VWAP, then hey, that's fitting. But otherwise, though, I mean, certainly if it holds under 385 and breaks under the VWAP convincingly here, this could be for a really nice drop off, taking us into the close, lower lows. This could be a good time to follow some stocks that we keep on our side lists here. An American Airlines. This seems like it's ready to crash right through that VWAP line on the way down at 14. That's like a side list play. It seems not a whole lot happening there. NCLH, little volatile if you do well on the stock day to day. Michael says ATNM all week. Brian will be a fan of seeing that in our trading room. He's been in that as a swing. Just made that post to me early this morning through private chat. Appreciate that, Brian. And yeah, it's been up pretty nicely across the whole week. So, like I said, Brian took advantage of that inside our live trading room. And, with that, perhaps there could be some room for more on the swing. But, right now it's just illiquid, giant spread. No day trade on that, though. Chris says VNet. Oh, it's up big. It's trying to make a move up right now. Just a moment ago, it tried to. Maybe when I turned over to it, if I did, it was snapping back down, but it's trying to squeeze back up a bit here. I'll respect it. It's up, enough. It's at the highest, to say. Check out a stock like GM. I mean, Shopify is still on our watch list. That was the first one we talked about. Going back to Shopify right now, that's holding under 35, but namely the VWAP there too, 35.12 roughly. Let me know, folks. Anything else? Just last call. A stock like Oxy has been really strong in these markets over the last, several months at this point. But it's one to keep an eye on day to day too. JD ended up making actually a really good run on JD today, huh? I don't know if it's the Chinese markets altogether that ended up squeezing up across the afternoon. Like I know Lee did. Neo didn't really move up as well. So, Lee definitely was the big winner, but JD I missed out on. Nice move up over 5.5%. This could be a good stock to keep on your watch list if you do well on it day to day. EHAB from Chris. We'll take a look at that, and then I think from that point we'll finish up just with about 10 minutes to go before Fausto begins class. EHAB, it's at the highs. It just popped a moment ago, of course. Let's check out the weekly. Seems like a new stock, relatively new IPO back from late July, perhaps. Not a fan of it just yet, even though it's at the highs. I just want to see what this actually looks like on level 4 first. My platform's like a disaster here, so I wasn't planning on showing this to you. I have my main screen, but that was frozen. So, perhaps I'll reconsider this after I get reset up, Chris. All right. But for right now, we got 4 stocks on our main watch list, folks. Not bad. Not bad. We got Shop, we got Lee, we got Band, and we got VNet there, VNET taking us into the close. Perhaps others, perhaps like the EHAB or something else if it ends up making a decent move, especially if the market shows better direction up or down heading into the close. So for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, I appreciate your patience from earlier. Probably won't look as good of a recording to watch nonetheless. But hey, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com youtube.com/cybertradingyou. We're going to post a lot of different videos on our YouTube channel coming up, like I had said, from a week or so ago. Things in nature of like their TradeStation tutorials, Thinkorswim tutorials, Bookmap tutorials, and other things like that. So, be on the lookout for that. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the yellow banner below on our streams. Otherwise, though, if you have any other questions, just feel free to email me, josh@ctutrading.com. Otherwise, for all of us inside the live trading room, Rich will be on the mic taking you folks going into the close. I got an appointment with the DMV here in Florida, so wish me luck. That's at 4 p.m. So I'll stay with you folks probably until like 3:15, 3:30. All right, folks, I'll chat with you in a bit. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.